Renal compensation takes hours to days. Although the process is slow, it runs to completion. Renal compensation completely corrects the pH. The process is conceptually simple. Create acidic urine. Doing so removes acidifying products from the blood to correct the pH. The kidneys titrate weak acids such as ammonium and dihydrogen phosphate into the urine. Bicarbonate is both created and reabsorbed. Sodium, a strong cation with an alkalinizing effect, is also reclaimed. Conversely, chloride is excreted. A heated dispute over what causes and corrects metabolic acidosis has been running since the 1980s. The idea that bicarbonate has zero influence on pH has been gaining traction. Click to either skip or see a slide on this topic. As of 2011, the medical world remains divided about what causes pH change. In the traditional approach to acid-base analysis, we consider carbon dioxide the respiratory acid, bicarbonate the metabolic base. This understanding dates back to the 1950s, when researchers analyzed laboratory values of patients with known disorders. Among other things, they found that bicarbonate dropped during metabolic acidosis. Bicarbonate rose during metabolic compensation to respiratory acidosis. It follows that our bodies regulate bicarbonate to control pH. However, association and causation are different beasts. For example, a patient may state that they are allergic to vancomycin because it once made them red and flushed. However, we know that infusing vancomycin too quickly makes anyone red and flushed. Inappropriate administration, rather than an actual allergy, may have caused the problem. So association does not always equal causation. Back to bicarbonate. Experts question the role of bicarbonate. Miller's anesthesia bluntly lists bicarbonate as a dependent factor that has zero influence on pH. Miller lists a set of independent variables that do change pH. 6 dependent variables have no effect. The simplified picture demonstrates the concept. On the left are several independent variables. Note that the balance of strong ions such as sodium and chloride directly alter pH. On the right, we see both protons and bicarbonate listed as dependent variables. Their concentrations are determined by what happens on the left side of the picture. This paradigm, known as the Stewart or physicochemical approach, is enjoying growing acceptance in current literature. Even Barish states that the Stewart approach provides more insight into the mechanisms underlying acid-base disturbances. So why do brilliant clinicians continue to use the traditional model? They use it because it quickly and effectively diagnoses most bedside disorders. However, top clinicians who use the traditional model understand its limitations. I highly recommend reading Chapter 49 in Miller's Anesthesia. Dihydrogen phosphate and phosphate are weak acid-base pairs. Excreting dihydrogen phosphate into the urine removes the acid from the bloodstream. The kidney's tubular cells use an antiport pump that pumps out hydrogen ions while reclaiming sodium ions. One bicarbonate is created during the process. The phosphate mechanism removes weak acid from the body, reclaims sodium, and creates bicarbonate. Ammonia is the weak base of the weak acid ammonium. According to Guyton and Hall's textbook of medical physiology, this buffer system is quantitatively more important than phosphate. For every ammonium titrated into the urine, 2 bicarbonate molecules are created. Additionally, 1 chloride is excreted and 1 sodium recaptured. As with phosphate, we see weak acid being eliminated, ions exchanged, and bicarbonate created. 80 to 90% of bicarbonate is reabsorbed in the proximal tubule. According to the traditional model, bicarbonate creation and reabsorption is key to renal compensation. Until more texts follow Miller's Anesthesia, it is critical to recognize that the kidneys both create and reabsorb bicarbonate when compensating for acidosis. During alkalosis, the processes run in reverse. Bicarbonate and sodium are dumped into the urine, chloride and weak acids are pumped out of the urine and back into the body. By holding on to acidifying products and excreting alkalinizing products, the kidneys compensate.